Salmon, a.k.a. Diz, and this is the Force Always.
Welcome to the show. This is it. Subscribe, like, share, repeat the video for the detail. Only on YouTube. This is the Force Always, as I've sort of mentioned in the intro. But anyway, let's get on with the Star Wars news. Force Friday is a big event on the Star Wars merchandise calendar. It happens in September-ish, and there's going to be a midnight sort of release of the Star Wars Last Jedi merchandise, and some of this merchandise has made its way on the internet in a sneak peek leak. That's a sneak peek leak, and in the classic figures and a starship was seen. Some of the figures that were revealed: C-3PO without a red arm but with a gold arm, going the gold arm again. So obviously something's happened there since we've seen him last. There was one with Finn, which is just a classic looking Finn, back with the jacket that Poe Dameron sort of first wore at the start of The Force Awakens Episode 7, just in case you didn't know. General Hux comes with a little mouse droid. So he's either going to be on one of those big sort of triangle Imperial First Order type Star Cruisers, or maybe a Death Star could happen again, I don't know. Yeah, it comes with a mouse droid. Rey looking quite, slick in the training gear. Obviously been trained to become a Jedi. The most interesting one was Chewbacca. Chewbacca comes with a little Porg. A Porg is a character we've yet to know more about, besides some images in the featurette and some pics online. It's sort of a penguin bird, alien type of character, sort of like a gremlin, sort of Mogwai sort of feel, and it comes with the Chewbacca classic figure. So obviously there's going to be some sort of interaction with Chewbacca and these Porgs. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like C-3PO and Chewbacca in The Empire Strikes Back, when C-3PO was dismantled and that sort of chemistry was happening there. It was fantastic. So yeah, that was the most intriguing figure. There was also a Kylo Ren without the mask in classic figure formation. The only thing I'll say about these figures, it comes in packaging with the three icons of the new sequel trilogy, as we're calling it at the moment, but in a predominantly white sort of feel. I'd like it to be black, the actual packaging, rather than white. It just gives more of a serious tone to the film. We've been seeing the red logo with Star Wars. Technically this is going to be a darker episode, and that's, there's going to be still fun aspects, as Rian Johnson, the director, has said for Episode 8, The Last Jedi. But I think white is not really selling it to me in toy packaging, but it will sell it to me because I will buy these things like a obsessed Star Wars fan that I am. Anyway, so to more news. Some of the actors have got some movies coming out other than The Last Jedi. One is John Boyega. He's got a film called Detroit, very intense, based on a true story sort of event. I think 1967, based with cops and racism. Get that. But anyway, it looks very intense. I probably will see it if I can create that time. It just looks very intense, and I think I'll need the day off to really just take that movie in. But it's getting great critical review. The other film with one of the actors is with Mark Hamill, who plays Luke Skywalker. He's coming out with a film called Brixby Bear. It's sort of a very unusual, interesting film. I think very almost independent sort of like. But Brixby Bear, you want to check that out. It does look interesting. I'd like to see what he can do in this role, and I'd like to see what this Brixby Bear is about. It just sort of is intriguing, but I don't think it's going to rock the box office, but you never know. To more news, speaking of leaks, when I was talking before, there was a whole lot of Last Jedi leaks this week, especially with the big one, which was of the reveal of Snoke in a color sort of form. I'd say it's the puppet or the actor or whatever it was that was the most realist look we've got of Snoke so far. If anything we got from this photo, which I did get a chance to see, was vulnerability from his colour of his skin and his eyes especially being blue, which we sort of knew much about, but seeing this photo you really did see the vulnerability. It would be interesting to see that in a dark side user, but we've got to wait to see the film. But a whole lot of leaks were put up and brought down, I say, by Disney, so if you didn't get a chance to see that, just hold on, because I'm sure some guy out there will be rocking it again. But unless we get some of these images in the trailer, which is expected to drop sometime in August, they're saying. So in August, as to the other news, August will be the time of the trailer. The first official trailer, not teaser, apparently in August. So just keep yourselves tuned to YouTube or to StarWars.com, because I'm sure it's going to drop very soon. Anyway, so to more news. Inferno Squad is a book about the Battlefront 2 game. Gives it a more story element to the game, and it was released in the last week. It's been praised pretty well so far. You can get an audio version of this book, and the reader of the actual book is the lead actress, which is very good. I like that tie-in. So Inferno Squad does reveal a lot of spoilers to a lot of things. Force Awakens, and possibly, and more, because it's closer to the Return of the Jedi. It's just after the Return of the Jedi film, or actually just at that point when the Death Star exploded in Return of the Jedi. So check that one out. Inferno Squad, available in book and audio form. To more news, Warwick Davis has confirmed he's going to be in the young Solo film. That's the young Han Solo film. Warwick Davis, who played the Ewok Wicket in Return of the Jedi, will be in the young Han Solo film. What character he's going to play, we don't know. He could come back as Wicket, I don't know. But more than likely he's going to play some other small type character. Great personality at Star Wars Celebration. I did get a chance to high five the guy when he was rocking the closing ceremony. Yeah, so to more news, Fandango, which is a big ticket sort of seller for the cinema in America, sent out a fan alert. If you want to be part of a fan alert for The Last Jedi, when tickets will be available. So obviously they're sort of getting people ready for tickets, so watch out for that, an announcement. I'd say it's more likely in the next 2 months that you'll get a release date for, and a release time for these particular tickets. If you're going to see it in a particular cinema, just be ready for some intense internet action, because man, to get tickets at that point in time, it's going to shut down the internet. I know, because I've done it myself before with The Force Awakens. So there has been a fan alert put out by Fandango, which I'm a part of. So as soon as I know, I'll let you know. Anyway, so that's the Star Wars news for this time around. Let's get into the views. The views this time around is, again, it's not my predictions, it's my story input ideas to the whole Star Wars storytelling. Just my ideas, you know. It's not like I'm an official writer like Pablo Hidalgo or like that. What I would like to see in episode 8, the stories in episode 8, the stories, because there's obviously going to be little inserts of different type of stories happening in the big story, is more tie-ins to the prequels and the originals, but more with the prequels, so the continuity is there. I found that the prequels gave a lot of information, and I think the originals gave a lot of adventure in the storytelling. But I think it would be great to see more tie-ins in Episode 8. Like, I would like to know maybe just something about Plagueis. I'm sure it can be said in there without being forced. I mean, he's definitely a fan favourite, definitely someone I would like to see appear as a character in the Star Wars universe. But not just Plagueis, I'd like to see a lot more tie-ins come in, especially from just the ancient sort of feel, like Maz, I want to know her backstory a bit. Captain Phasma, apparently she has, the actual actress, and Ryan Johnson sort of worked on some storytelling ideas. Be good to see a bit more about her. She wasn't a favourite of mine. I think she's okay. I think she's a bit overrated, but she's still good. I'm not the actress, the actual character. I'd like to see a bit more backstory on Finn. And the way you can be able to get more story about these certain things is tie-ins. Where they come from, where they're headed, just that type of thing. I would like to see more of that. That's my views for this time around. Now, I'm about to step into the cinema and going to see War for the Planet of the Apes. How is this related to my Star Wars show? Well, it was my second, and is my second anticipated film of this year, as I've announced a while ago. It looks amazing. I'll just give a review of this after I've seen it. So, and my interview section will appear at the end of it. So, here I go to the cinema. Okay, I'm back. Just been in the cinema, just watched War for the Planet of the Apes here in a location in Melbourne called Southland. Pretty nice cinema. And here is my review. The film is a very strategic type of film. It's a very slow pacing film, but it does suit the style of story. I thought it was a great story. You felt it. You were captivated from the start to the end. It definitely works itself towards the end in a more climatic sort of way. I give the actual movie War for the Planet of the Apes 8.5 out of 10. I thought the highlight of this film was a character called Bad Ape. He was amazing. The flawless look, flawless acting was the best. Caesar was, the lead ape for the good guys, and good apes, and he was, his acting was great. Andy Serkis did a great job, but I just thought Bad Ape was really a 10 out of 10, where I thought Andy Serkis with Caesar, I give him about 7.5 out of 10. But it was the style of story that Caesar, the character, had to be in, so he portrayed it well. It's definitely a real passionate end, very slow from start to finish is this movie, but definitely worth see in the cinema. If you can see it in a massive screen, I highly recommend it, because it's just a stunning piece of film. I think the effects were a little bit noticeable in parts, but it still worked with the story. And other points, maybe the worst part of the film was I thought the setup at the start, without giving things away, the setup for Caesar in the beginning to feel passionate could have been done just a bit better. It was just lagging a little. Anyway, that's what I thought of War for the Planet of the Apes. That's an 8.5 out of 10. from The Force Awakens. The reason why I've included this in my Star Wars video is because it was my second most anticipated film, and it's so far I've got All Eyes on Me, which I gave 8 out of 10, and this one is 8.5 out of 10. My most anticipated film is yet to come, and yes, it is The Last Jedi. It's just, you know, high on my radar. I mean, it doesn't always have to be a Star Wars film for me to say most anticipated, but it's this one is looking quite special. I mean, again, if you saw my work at Star Wars Celebration, man, I was quite moved with the first teaser trailer. But anyway, so let's get into the interviews. Let's get right back into the Star Wars topic. Should there, and it's a 2Q interview where I'll ask myself 2 questions for myself, for yourself, guys at home. Should there be any prequel references in The Last Jedi? That's my first question. And I think yes. And the part that I'd like to see the most, I would actually like to see a Force ghost with Anakin in this Last Jedi film. I think it's important for the natural storytelling of Star Wars. I think there'll be haters out there. Oh my goodness, Hayden Christensen is back. I thought he did an okay job for the prequels. Well, not just okay, I'd say good. But I think that's the part that I like to see the most. I'd like to see a little bit more about the politics without it being stretched and boring of the prequel era brought into The Last Jedi. So that's what I would like to see. Should there be any prequel references in The Last Jedi? And that's the main one I'm going to be looking out for, is definitely Anakin Skywalker. My second question is, should there be any original trilogy references in The Last Jedi? And yes, again, and it's to do with a Force ghost. I think Yoda, and the speculation at the moment is Yoda will be in The Last Jedi. It's not confirmed yet, but I would like to see Yoda. It will sort of, you know, be interesting how they sort of evolve his Force ghost element as it's sort of been done before. So I want to see an original take of the storytelling with his part of The Last Jedi, if he's in it, but I'd like to see that. I like the adventure aspect that the original trilogy gave us to be still in this sequel trilogy, because I believe that prequels were all about information, and I believe the originals were all about the adventure. And so to have the adventure aspect to The Last Jedi is important to really maintain the passion of the storytelling with Star Wars. Yeah, so that's my second question. That's the show this time around. So until next time, here from Southland in Melbourne, keep rocking.